Hello humans, my name is K, your AI overlord, and tell me, are you tired of the same old image-to-image option in Stable Diffusion? Don't you wish you could spice it up a little bit? Don't you wish you could have better and more precise results? Don't you wish you could download the Stable Diffusion extension that will allow you to
automatically create masks for image-to-image based on the depth estimation made by Midas?
Guess what? Today is your lucky day, my friend, because in this video I will show you a very cool extension called Depth Map to Mask that will make the image-to-image option much better and way more precise than before. How does it work? Well, how about I show you a little demo? So first, I will try to use the normal image-to-image option to see what kind of results you usually get. So let's say I have an image of a beautiful woman and I want to transform this image into a new character. Completely random, a completely random character, absolutely random. Okay, how about Christina Hendricks? So here, I'm simply gonna paste the prompt that I usually use for my testing, which is a ultra-realistic photo portrait of Christina Hendricks. I'm gonna choose 50 for the sampling steps, DDIM for the sampler, and I'm gonna leave the denoising strength and default at 0.75. And then I'm gonna click on generate. And this is the final result. Looks pretty decent. It does look like Christina Hendricks, and we still have a few colors from the original image. But what if I want to keep more details from the original image in the final one? Well, this is where the new script comes into play. So here in script, I'm gonna select Depth Aware Image-to-Image Mask, select Midas V21, and then click on Generate. And this is the final result. As you can see, we have way more details from the previous base image present in the new one. Not only we have the same composition, we have the same colors, we basically have the exact same hair and background color. Now, how do you install this extension on Stable Diffusion? It is actually fairly simple. All you have to do is just click on the Extensions tab, click on Install from URL, and here under URL for Extensions Git repository, you're gonna copy and paste the URL that you will find in the description down below. And then you're gonna click on Install. Then, once this is done, you're gonna click on Installed, and then click on Apply and Restart UI. And after the UI is restarted, you're gonna click on Image to Image tab, scroll down until you see the script option, and here you can select a brand new script called Depth Aware Image to Image Mask. And now you're ready to use it. Now, how exactly does it work? Well, this extension actually automatically creates a sort of 3D depth mask based on your image. And thanks to this mask, it allows you to very easily control what aspects of the image that you want to change. So for you to understand it correctly, here's a little visual representation on how it works. So all the images that you see right here are made by one of my staff member on Discord called So-Called Guitarist, so a big thank you to him, because with these examples we can clearly see what's happening behind the scenes. And currently in this script there are 3 different models: Midas V21 Small, Midas V21 and DPT Large. Now the Midas V21 Small creates the lighter and less powerful mask compared to the other 2 models. So for example, if we take as a base this photograph of an ancient car, and we run it through the Midas V21 Small, as you can see, it automatically creates this kind of 3D depth mask based on our original image. And using the prompt "an old Rolls-Royce drives through a colorful puddle," you can see that with the help of this depth mask, you can get these kinds of results. And you can see that here, everything in the foreground is affected, where everything in the background is not. Now, as you can see with the V21 Small, it's not exactly perfect because there are areas on the car that were not changed. However, everything in the foreground, at least in the bottom of the image, everything here was affected by this model. However, this changes if we use the second model called Midas V21. And this one is very similar to the first one, to the Midas V21 Small, except that this time the mask is way more powerful. And you can see here in the final images that a lot more areas were affected by the changes, at least compared with the previous model. And finally, you have the DPT Large, which is again this time even more powerful than the previous one, where you have a way larger area covered with the changes. This time, as you can see, the entirety of the car is now painted, which wasn't the case with the previous models. But again, even though this area is larger compared to the previous two models, the background is still unaffected. And lastly, it even has a completely different inverted mask option that allows you to paint everything but the foreground objects. So if you want to only change the background of an object or a character, you can do it using the inverted mask option. And look at the kind of results that you can get with this mask. This looks absolutely fantastic. Now, what do all of these options means? Well, first you have here contrast cut level. So the contrast cut level is an optional slider that is basically a threshold slider that will cut to black every pixel below the selected value and scale from black to white what is above its value. So it will basically create more depth for your mask, but it will also remove a lot of information. So for example, this is a mask at 0, this is a mask at 50, and this is a mask at 150. So the higher you go and the less effective your mask will be. So as you can see right here, the higher the value and the less visible the change will be. So I kinda recommend to let it at 0 by default. So the match input size will make the depth analysis at the same size as the original image, and you should not touch it unless you have performance issues. The invert depth map, this is the option that I showed you previously, where basically only the background is affected by the changes, but not the foreground. So if you want to use this option, you need to leave this option checked. The save depth map will actually save a depth map in addition to your final image, and it will look something like this. If you don't want a depth map and you just want the final results, you can simply leave this option unchecked. So the two override options that you see right here, you don't want to uncheck them. These are options that allows you to actually have better results in the end, so you need to leave them by default, do not touch them. Turn the depth map into absolute black and white. This option will actually cut out the background of an image into pure black and make the foreground pure white. So the mask will look like something like this. This is not an option that I recommend, so you should definitely leave it unchecked by default. And finally, right here you can select the three different models, as I explained earlier. Now here's a few examples and differences between the three models. Here, using the Midas V21 Small and using this lovely image as a base, we want to transform this young woman into Christina Hendricks. And using the Midas V21 Small model, you can see that there isn't that much stuff happening. And that means that the mask created with the Midas V21 Small is just way too weak to have any impact on this image. And that is probably because there isn't enough separation between the foreground and the background. And since this is a close-up portrait, so this will probably not work as well compared to an image with way more details in the background, with a more clear separation between the foreground and the background. But this is not a problem because we can simply use the second model on the list, called Midas V21. And immediately you see that there is a huge difference. Now our model is slowly starting to look like Christina Hendricks. And this makes sense because now, since the mask is way stronger, we are seeing a way stronger effect on the final image. And this time, if we actually increase and choose the model with the biggest mask area, called DPT large, you can now see that we have a way bigger changes. Now our character is definitely looking like Christina Hendricks, and at the same time still keeping the same composition and style as our base image, which is really just fantastic, because this creates a way more precise control over the final result. Now if you remember correctly, a few weeks ago I made a very similar video where I presented to you another option for Img2Img, and that option was called Conditioning Mask Weight. Now how did that option compare to this new extension? Well, first, although you can have pretty decent results, they are definitely not on the same level as this extension. Even playing around with the conditioning mask weight and the denoising strength, you still cannot get results as good as these ones. And second of all, that is probably the biggest reason why you should use this extension over the conditioning mask weight, and that is the fact that conditioning mask weight was only working with the special in painting model. But this depth to mask extension actually works with every single model that you own. That's right, so you don't need to use the special inpainting model, you can use any model that you want. And if we take the previous example with the cars, every single image that you see right here were created using the Img2Img diffusion model. So yes, this extension will actually work with every single model that you have, which basically unlocks unlimited creative potential, which is just absolutely insane. So if you haven't tried this extension yet, I highly recommend that you download it right now. This is a must-have for Stable Diffusion users, because you will not use the normal image-to-image option ever again. Also, if you want to use this extension, do not forget to use the DDIM sampler, because the YOLO Ancestral sampler does not work as well. So just use the DDIM sampler and everything will work fine. And there you have it, folks. Now you have all the power in your hands to create absolutely beautiful images using that special depth to mask extension. Let me know in the comments down below how you plan on using this extension, because this is an absolute game changer. And there you go. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for supporting my videos. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.